You're listening to The Larry Kudlow Show.
Welcome back, folks. Another very special guest, Breitbart's Milo Yiannopoulos. And I want him to talk about a couple things. We had supper in Cleveland when I first met him, and he's a very fascinating young man and journalist. Milo, thank you for doing this. We ran long with Senator Portman, so we're going to talk to you for a couple minutes now and then carry you over on the break for a couple more minutes to do it justice. First of all, you're like Peck's bad boy, although I'm not sure I understand why. Twitter has now banned you. Twitter has banned you from coming on their website, which is quite remarkable. You are the guy that kind of pulled the plug on Facebook, where their editors were banning conservative commentary, the sort of hot topic conservative commentary. And as I say, now they've knocked you off Twitter. What's going on here, Milo? We all thought these big search engines and, social networks were fair and even and everybody could participate. Turns out it's not true.
Hey, Larry. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet.
Yeah, I mean, you remember in the 90s when people were getting banned from MTV, Madonna, and, some of these edgy pop artists whose videos were violating the accepted norms of some of the conservative gatekeepers of culture. And there was a little bit of pearl clutching, a little bit of nannying going on from, the social conservatives, the Christian right. Well, something of the same is happening today, except the people doing the pearl clutching are on the progressive left. And there are people who don't like jokes very much. They don't like it when you disagree with a woman or disagree with a black person. So I wrote a very critical review of the new Ghostbusters movie, and that was enough to get me banned from Twitter because Leslie Jones, the black lady who plays one of the new Ghostbusters, didn't like it very much. What it's done, of course, is turned me into a bit of a countercultural icon. It's turned me into a free speech martyr, and I'm acquiring something of the level of sort of countercultural cool that artists who were banned from MTV in the 90s had. It's a very remarkable thing, and very dumb for Twitter to do it too, because they don't realize the power they hand you when they turn you into a dangerous figure like this.
But Facebook's doing the same thing. You pulled the plug on that. I read all your stuff. I talked about it on this radio show and elsewhere. We only have 30 seconds for this segment. These guys are not really free speech social media postings, are they?
No, of course not. Both Facebook and Twitter are nakedly politically partisan. Facebook invited a lot of conservatives to go meet them recently for a sort of photo op. Glenn Beck was there, a few people from Fox. But what they actually did afterwards was...
Stay with me. Milo, stay with me. We're coming right back. Milo Yiannopoulos from Breitbart. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to continue our interview with Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo, I just wanted to... Let's get this straight on Twitter. Okay.
Cool.
Besides being politically incorrect insofar as your criticisms or mockery of the far left wackos who come up with this stuff, what did you do wrong? In other words, Twitter says you can't come on. They banned you. Well, that's a big thing in this era of social media and its importance. They banned you. They're taking away your free speech. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly did you do wrong?
Well, let me be clear. I'm not just politically incorrect. I'm very politically incorrect. I make jokes about everybody. Nobody is safe. I like to make jokes about people on the left, people on the right, men, women, blacks, whites, you name it. I make jokes about everybody. But the problem is that being politically incorrect toward one of the left's, protected victim classes is being characterized by the left as abuse and harassment, as these sort of, all these weird Orwellian phrases to describe the fact the left doesn't have a sense of humor and doesn't like jokes very much. So the answer to your question is I did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Twitter has not been able to provide any evidence whatsoever that I was responsible for some of the nasty things that Leslie Jones, the actress, did receive. They're holding me responsible for the behavior of others. They don't hold Justin Bieber responsible when his fans cut themselves. They don't hold Beyonce responsible when her fans go after Taylor Swift with death threats and rape threats. But they've decided, because I'm a conservative and because they don't like me very much, to hold me responsible for what people do on the internet after I write a review of a movie. That's ridiculous.
Can you sue them?
I suppose I could. The exciting thing, the interesting bit of that would be, if there were shareholders around, and we all know Twitter shareholders, who used the service, believed that they were getting a fair deal, believed that if they, for instance, spent money with Twitter, that their ads would be treated fairly on the platform, and that they would be, in using the platform and in being investors, get a fair experience that treated conservatives fairly. I could see a suit being brought there. And, of course, if you were a shareholder, you'd probably get discovery in court.
I know.
Twitter could be asked to provide all of the internal emails that went into the discussion that contributed to the decision to ban me. I don't think the company's going to want those public.
Well, that's what I like about it. Look, we're all having supper tonight again. We got Steve Bannon coming up. I hope you're still coming up to Connecticut. And
of course,
I would love to. Let's put a little heat on Steve. I think he's your publisher or editor. He's got to get you into court and beat Twitter. I mean, it's a front page story. It's also a huge financial story. You know, Twitter's stock's been going south for a while.
Can you imagine what will happen to the stocks if somebody files a lawsuit and gets discovery and says, right, I want copies of all the emails and all of the Slack messages and all of the other things between Twitter executives that have gone into the decisions about who to ban on this platform? They would U-turn so quickly on this ban to make this go away. It would make your head spin.
That's what I think. I mean, the fact, first of all, that Twitter shareholders know that Twitter has banned Milo Yiannopoulos from Breitbart. That by itself will drive the stock down 12%. They want you, Milos. There's a demand for it. We can have a movement here.
Absolutely. And, I was on CNBC. I was on CNBC this week from the Republican National Convention. This decision by Twitter turned me into a kind of little rock star at the RNC. I was all anybody could talk about. You know, when there wasn't stuff going on stage, all anyone was talking about the RNC was Milo Yiannopoulos. This was a very dumb thing. I think Twitter probably snuck this out, hoping it would get buried by all the news from Cleveland. Actually, what happened was it was a concentration of world media, and I just did a tour. You can probably hear my voice is a little hoarse because I've been giving about 100 interviews a day for the last 4 days.
We're going to make you the head commissioner of the Federal Communications Commission if we don't turn out.
I was made head of the FCC just so I can shut it down. We don't need it.
All right, Milo, give me. I got about 90 seconds. GOP in Cleveland. What's your take, real fast?
You know what I noticed? Trump is building an entirely new party, and the big question for the next 5 years and even beyond, regardless of what happens in this election, is will the Republican Party be able to modernize and adapt itself fast enough to what Trump is building, or is it going to just split in two and completely disintegrate? When you look at the crowd at the RNC this week in Cleveland, it was so different from anything that's happened to the Republican Party for decades. It was young, it was fun, it was glamorous, and it wasn't, it was a different kind of young to the DNC. It was a different kind of young to the Democrats, these sort of angry lefty protester types. It was young people who were glamorous.
I was watching them.
Happy.
No, I loved it. I think you're dead on. I was watching them. I was on the floor and watching the stuff. I was watching, people dancing with each other, men and women dancing with each other, women and women dancing with each other, men and men dancing with each other. I said, these are Republicans. Oh, my God.
Isn't it amazing what Trump has managed to do? And, I don't want to make it all about the gay thing, but when Peter Thiel, the billionaire Silicon Valley investor, one of the founders of PayPal, went on stage and said, I'm proud to be gay, I'm proud to be a Republican, more importantly, I'm proud to be American. That echoed Trump's message, which is, reject the identitarian politics of the left and just be proud to be American and to believe in American values. And when Trump echoed him afterwards and then said how happy he was to see a room full of Republicans cheering for a gay guy, that was a huge cultural moment, an enormous cultural moment. And that's going to be so damaging and so awkward for the left for so long.
It's good for the GOP.
I took huge pleasure in that. And Donald Trump is responsible for that. And the
good
Republican
for the
Party
GOP.
needed it.
Milo Yiannopoulos at Bright.